Your presence on this planet has purpose. You are not the result of a relational accident. You are not the consequence of a cosmic coincidence. You've been strategically, intentionally placed on this planet by God. Listen to me. You were not born and then chosen. Look at me. You were born because you were chosen. I'm gonna say that one more time. You were not born and then chosen. You were born, watch this, you were born because you are chosen. God told Jeremiah, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Watch this, not only did I know you, I ordained you. I set you apart specifically as a prophet to the nations. Your parents did not just come together because they needed physical intimacy. Your parents came together because I needed a prophet. And I knew the right DNA mixture that I needed to concoct to create a person that would carry out the purpose for which I had in the earth. You are born not to be chosen. You are born because you are chosen. And you hit a space and a season in your life where God unveils and reveals and exposes to you that plan, that purpose, and that dream. However, there's something that I need to share with every dream chaser. This dream, this vision, this purpose may take longer than you thought. If we eavesdrop on a conversation that Habakkuk that is had in the book of Habakkuk, the Bible is very clear when Habakkuk says, I set myself up on a rampart to watch and see what he will say to me. And when I set myself there, the Lord answered me and said, write the vision, make it plain upon the tablet so that they that read it can run with it. For though the vision is for an appointed time, it didn't tell us what time it's appointed, but it did tell us it's an appointed time. So God knows when the appointment time is. We don't. I just want to tell you, it may be longer than you think. This might be why Habakkuk says, though the vision tarries, lingers, wait for it. For in the end, what is the end? Not the end of your life. The end of that preparation season. It will speak and not lie. Then it says it will not tarry. Wait a minute. You say, though it tarries, wait for it. But then you say, in the end, it will speak and it will not lie and it will not tarry. Which one is it? It can't be that it won't tarry and will tarry at the same time. Maybe God is saying, from your perspective, it is tarrying. But from my perspective, it's not tarrying. Don't miss this. Yeah. So from your perspective, it's lingering. But from my perspective, it's right on time. From your perspective, it's taking a long time. But from his perspective, it's the right time. From your perspective, it's wasting time. From God's perspective, I'm going to redeem time. And what I'm going to do with the time you got left is going to make up for all the time you wasted. I don't know who I'm talking to, but just because, look at me, write this down. Just because it seems long doesn't mean it's going wrong. Just because it seems long doesn't mean it's going wrong, because God knows how to strategically move the chess pieces of your life in strategic ways and in strategic places to get you to the right place at the right time, even considering, considering your assignment. Let me see if I can get a shouter here, and your imperfections. I'm going to say that one more time, that when God is making chess moves for your life, he's not just considering your assignment, he's also considering your imperfections. And he knows how your imperfections are going to contribute to some divine delays. So when he strategically sets things in place for your life, he calculates the damage that's going to be done by some of the decisions that we make sure that our decisions don't damage our destiny to the degree that we don't step into the fullness of God's best for our life. Y'all better come get me, because I feel like preaching this. We can look at the prodigal son and see that when he left home thinking he had all the father's goods. He had everything the father had for him. But when he came back to the father's house, the father gave him a robe. The father gave him a ring. And the father gave him some shoes, which means that the father has enough in store to cover you twice. That when you think you blew it, when you think all that is yours has been depleted, God's like, you thought I gave you everything, but I knew you were going to have to go through a silly season. So I kept some things in store until you got silly out of you. And then once you got silly out of you, I can put this on you. Is there anybody grateful that God didn't give you everything he has for you during your silly season? I wish we'd be honest that we had some silly seasons, that we've had some seasons and some situations. Watch this. And if you've had one, listen to me, if you've had one, then you should be grateful that God didn't give you his best when you were at your worst, because you would have done like the prodigal son and wasted it in a strange land. So God said, I held some of your notoriety back until you got silly out of you. Now that silly's out of you, I can trust you with influence, because you're not going to blow it. Y'all not talking to me. So while you were in it, you felt like it was tarrying. But now that you're on the other side of it, you're like, Lord, I'm glad you didn't give me what I thought I wanted when I wanted it, what I thought I needed when I needed it, because you needed me to get silly out of me. Because this biblical character named Joseph is an incredible example of what I'm articulating. Joseph teaches us how to handle when it seems like dreams, visions are taking longer than you thought. He teaches us how to manage what I call middle seasons. You see, the season of revelation is not the season of manifestation. The season where you see what you're supposed to be doing is not the season you actually do it. The season of announcement is not the season of fulfillment. And believer struggle is not revelation. It's not manifestation. It's the middle. Believer struggle is not announcement. When God announces something, we know how to respond to that. It's not fulfillment. When God fulfills what he promises, we know how to respond to that. The struggle for believers is the middle. And I believe God put this word on my heart because I'm talking to somebody that's in the middle. The middle season is a season where it seems like, God, you teasing me. I thought I was getting ready to step into what you had for me. Let me see if you can follow, if you can follow this hermeneutical loop I'm making. I thought when I was working for Potiphar, that was the promise. But you teased me and I went from Potiphar's house to the prison. He teaches us how to handle the middle. Watch this. Because the challenge many of us have is not the beginning of the dream or the end of the dream, but the middle. How do you handle the middle?
When you study the great heroes of faith, one common denominator you'll find is they had faith for the middle. When it looked impossible, when the promise seemed a long way off, they kept moving forward, knowing that it was a part of the process. I can still remember where I was sitting years ago in a restaurant when a friend of mine told me that the Houston Rockets basketball team was going to move out of the Compact Center and this facility was going to come available. When I heard that, something came alive on the inside. I knew it was supposed to be ours. God showed me the end. I could already see us in here having services touching the world. Looking back now, I realize what God didn't show me, that it was going to take 2 years to try to convince 10 city council members to vote for us. He didn't show me one of the largest companies in Texas would file a lawsuit to try to keep us from moving in. He didn't tell me it was going to cost $100 million to renovate. Sometimes God leaves out certain details on purpose. There's a reason we don't know all the details. We wouldn't move into the fullness of our destiny because none of us like adversity. We like to be comfortable, but you won't become all you were created to be without opposition, without disappointments, without struggles that cause you to stretch your faith, to grow, to develop your spiritual muscles.